Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for the GMAT. We have been solving GMAT math problems out of this book here, GMAT Review, the official guide, the 13th edition. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it. The problem that we are about to solve is the one that you will find on page number 285. Problem number 114 is what we're going to do. And today is our lesson number 146. Let's take a look at it. Number 114. We are told that a department manager distributes number of pen, pencil and pads among the staff members, and each member receives X, Y and Z of these items. The question simply is, how many people does he have in the department? So here we go. He's going to distribute pens, let's call it letter P, pencils, let's call it C for pencils, and pads, let's call it letter D. And everybody gets X pens, Y pencils, and Z pads. Very touching. The question is, how many people are there? How many people does he have in his department? Let's find out what they tell us, shall we? In the first statement they tell us that everybody gets in the ratio of pen, pencil and pad in the ratio of 2 to 3 to 4. For every 2 pens they get 3 pencils and they get 4 pads. Very nice. Does that enable us, does that anyway help us answer the question, which is, how many people are there? The answer is no. Simply knowing in what ratio they are distributed, simply knowing that what ratio these pencil and pen and pads are distributed is not going to help us find out how many people there are in the department. We need something more than that. We need a hell of a lot more than that, as a matter of fact. The first statement is not enough. Since the first statement by itself is not enough, A, D, B, C, E. Since the first statement by itself does not do the job, the answer cannot be A or D. Let's look at second statement. In the second statement they tell us that he distributed total of 18P, 27 pencils and 36 D. Again by itself, knowing that he distributed 36 pads and 27 pencils and 18 pens does not enable us to answer the question, which is, how many people are there? It doesn't do any good by itself. Second statement by itself is no good, therefore the answer cannot be B. Let's put them together. And let's see what happens, okay? Let's put them together and let's see what happens. When we put them together, let's put them together 18, 27 and 36, remember. Together 1 and 2. We know that paper, pencil and pads are distributed in a ratio of 2 to 3 to 4. They tell us that part in the first statement. In the second, this comes from the first statement. In the second statement they tell us that they are distributed. The total amount that they are distributed are 18, 27 and 36. Now listen very carefully. Listen very carefully because things are going to get prickly. Things are going to get prickly, and they're going to get prickly quite fast, quite rapidly. A lot of the people in their haste, if they're not paying attention, in the data sufficiency you have to be pay very close attention. There are pros and cons of data sufficiency. In data sufficiency, they're not actually asking us to solve the problem like they do in the multiple choice questions. So that's the pro. You don't actually have to do the work. You just have to be able to figure out if there is if there is sufficient data to be able to answer the question, but we don't actually have to answer the question. So that's the pro. The con is that they tend to be a little bit more tricky. They tend to be a little bit more tricky than the straightforward multiple choice questions. In the multiple choice questions, the reason I call them straightforward is because when I look at the multiple choice questions, I can at least tell the bloody thing whether I can answer it or not. I can tell whether or not I can solve it. Here, sometimes things get, as I said, a little prickly. In their haste, a lot of people, in their haste, immediately will jump to conclusion that this 18 is simply 9 times the amount, this 27 is simply 9 times the amount, this 36 is simply 9 times the amount, and they would say, aha, he must have 9 people in the department. And therefore, they would say, putting the two statements together does enable us to be able to answer the question, how many people are there in the department? And they would say 9. And in their haste, they will end up picking C as the answer. Putting them together is enough. Alas. Now, 9 is not wrong. It is not wrong to say that he has 9 people in the department. It's just that it is not necessarily right. It could be 9. It's not that it cannot be 9. It could be 9, but that is not necessarily the case. That is not the only possible scenario. What if the situations were like this? Instead of 9 people, what if you had only one person? This insane guy is sitting there, this hotshot CEO, running his department with only one person under him. And he was generous enough to give that person 18 pencils, 27 pens, or rather 18 pens, 27 pencils, and 36 pads for Christmas. In that scenario, we will still be correct in saying that the ratio that he gave that the paper, pen, pencil, and pads were 2 to 3 to 4. These numbers are 2 to 3 to 4. If you divide everything by 9, this becomes 2, 3, 4. They are in the ratio of 2 to 3 to 4. It's just that there is only one person in the department. So that's another possibility. Let's list the scenarios. Okay? Let's list possible scenarios. Don't worry about the fact that sometimes my letter all of a sudden becomes capital in the middle of the other letter. So one scenario that we saw was 9 people, which was the straightforward scenario that will come to most people's mind. Second scenario that we're discussing right now is just one person. This is what we would call the kinky scenario. There is one more scenario. There is one more possibility, which is, and how do you find this possibility? I never talked about it. Let's understand where these possibilities are coming from. I shouldn't have taken up all this room here. I'm going to do it down in the bottom here. Here's where they're coming from. 18, 27, 36. Let's divide them. Let's divide them by some number that can go into all of these numbers here. Can we divide all of these 3 numbers by 2? The answer is no. 18 is an even number, 36 is an even number, 27 is not an even number, it's not going to go into 2. We are looking for something that is a common factor in all of these three numbers. Let's try 3. That gives us 6, 9, and 12. You see? That's where, well actually we haven't talked about it, that's where the 3 is going to come in. It is possible to have 3 people in the department. It is possible to have 3 people in the department, and of course we need 18 here. 2 times 3 is not 18, which means if there are 3 people, and if you distributed 18 pencils, everybody got 6 of them. Everybody got 6 pencils. Everybody got 6 pencils. These are the number of people here. I'm making it too confusing here. Look, if you distributed 18 pencils altogether, or pen, whatever that was, and if there are 3 people, and if you distributed 18 pencils, everybody got 6 pencils. Everybody got 6 pencils. Similarly, if there are 3 people in the department, and if you distribute a total of 27 pencils, If there are 3 people, and if you distributed 3 pencils, everybody must have gotten 9 pencils, because 9 times 3 is 27. And if you distributed 36 pad, and if there are 3 people in the department, and if you give 36 pad to 3 people, everybody must have gotten 12 pads. And as you can see, 6 to 9 to 12 is still in the ratio of 2 to 3 to 4. It is still proper to say that they were distributed in a ratio of 2 to 3 to 4, because everybody got 6 of these, 9 of these, and 12 of those. So that's where the 3 comes from. Now as you can see, 6, 9 and 12 have one more factor common, which is another 3. We can divide by another 3. Now this becomes 2, this becomes 3, and this becomes 4. 2, 3 and 4 have nothing in common. Therefore, there are 3 possibilities. I left one out, so I'm going to start from the top here. Just to show you the theoretical aspect of the problem, I left one out, which is 1. If somebody were to ask you, what is the common factor, a number that you can use to divide all of these 3 numbers evenly, 18, 27 and 36. 18, 27 and 36 will be divided, you would be able to divide these numbers evenly by 1. All 3 of these are evenly divisible by 3. And all 3 of these numbers, 18, 27, 36, they are all also divisible by 1 times 3 times 3, which is 9. So there are your 3 possible scenarios. We can have 3 people in the department, we can have 1 person in the department, or we can have 9 people in the department. There are 3 distinct possibilities. Do you understand? And therefore putting the 2 statements together may seem like it's enough, but it is not. It is not. They are just toying with your emotions. The answer is E. The answer is E. C is not the right answer. C is wrong. The answer is E. Alright? I'll see you tomorrow. Bye now.